All right, back again with review unit 4, and this time we're going to do problem number 5. So here we see that we have a game, and to play a game you must pay $5 for each play, and there's a 10% chance you're going to win $5, a 40% chance that you're going to win $7, and a 50% chance that you're only going to win $3. And the questions that they're asking me are, what are the mean and standard deviation of your net winnings? I just turned the light a little brighter. And there it goes. What are the mean and standard deviation of your net winnings? And you play twice, assuming the plays are independent events. And that's kind of important, right? Like, in order to be able to calculate mean and standard deviation of two different events, they have to be independent. Okay, so that's important that they stated that. So they're asking us what's the mean and the standard deviation of the total winnings. Okay, so that's what we're going to be addressing. So first off, and of course you should be turned to page 403 in your book so that you could read along. And again, just remember to go ahead and do this first so that you can try and test yourself and not just rely on how I do the problem. All right, so in this case, we're just going to look at amount 1, or you can kind of think of it as your profit, and we're also going to look at the probability. Oops, there we go again. Probability of amount 1. Okay, so the first case, if I pay $5 and I win $5, that means that I'm walking away with 0 increase in dollars, and the percent of that happening is 10%. Next, I pay $5, I win $7, which means that I walk away with an additional $2 in my pocket, and the chance of that happening is 40%. And then finally, I could win $3, which means I'm walking away with $2 less in my pocket, and the chance of that happening is 50%. Now, they want us to find the mean and the standard deviation. So remember, in order to find my mean, right, which you can think of as finding our expected value, I'm going to take each of the amounts here, and I'm going to multiply it times its probability. So I'm going to take each one, multiply it times its probability, and then finally I'm going to add all of those together. So here I have 0 times 0.1 plus 2 times 0.4 plus, and of course this would be a negative 2 times 0.5. If you put all that in your calculator, you should get that you're going to walk away 20 cents poorer than when you started. Not a bad day, just not a great day. Now they want you to find the standard deviation. Well, in order to find the standard deviation, I need to start by finding the variance, okay? Because remember, the variance are the thing that I can calculate. So I'm going to do my variance, or I can write it like this. And remember, these formulas are all on your glossies. You just have to know where to look for them. So you might want to find your glossies and make sure that you're understanding how to read the formula. So when I look for my variance, it's that outcome minus the mean. So in our case, a minus 0.2. And then I'm going to square that. So I'm looking at the deviation that point is away from the mean times the probability. Plus, I'm going to find the next deviation. So I've got 2 minus a negative 2 squared times 0.4, and I'm going to kind of trip on down to this line here, plus, and this would be a negative 2 minus a negative 2 squared times 0.5. So when I figure all that out, I get my variance, and my variance ends up being 3.56. Okay, notice there's no units with this because that would be 3.56 squared dollars, and that doesn't really make sense. So now if I want my standard deviation, or I can write it like this, that just equals the square root of your variance. So in this case, it would be the square root of 356, which is about $1.89. Notice I have units now because it's $1. All right, so that was part A. For part B, I'm going to be playing the game twice. So I'm not playing for twice as much, but I'm playing the game twice. So I can say I'm going to find my mean, which is going to be my expected value for one play and another play. So remember, when I'm adding with two different random variables, it's just the sum of the means. Or it could be the difference of the means also, but in this case we're dealing with the sum of the means. All right. Phantom lines coming in here. So this would just be a negative 0.2 plus a negative 0.2, which gives us a negative 0.4. So a loss of 40 cents. Now, to find my standard deviation, I need to first work in terms of variances. So to find my standard deviation, which again is just this, I need to go ahead and find my variances. So I could just write this as the square root of the variance of one of them plus the variance of the other play. So in other words, I'm going to get the square root of 356 plus 356, which equals $2.67. And that is number 5.